Judge Karen fought for her client's rights. She was elected to the bench because she believes in doing the right thing.
I'm very passionate about helping people, period. Sometimes life pulls you from up here to down here to teach you a lesson. And you're in a valley right now. And there are lessons in this valley. I hope you learn from them.
Objective, independent justice.
You can always turn your life around. If you keep walking, you can overcome whatever circumstances you're facing.
This is Supreme Justice with Judge Karen. Sean Wilcox is suing Ron Richards in the amount of $1,600 for lost wages.
All right, Mr. Wilcox, you're suing Mr. Richards for $1,600 for lost wages.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Mr. Wilcox, what's this case about?
Basically, Your Honor, I am suing Mr. Richards here in his car service, the Carter Car Services, because I have been using them because my car was in the shop and I was using them to get back and forth from work.
Okay, so you own a car service?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and how much do you pay the car service to take you from your house to work?
It's about $25, Your Honor.
$25 every day?
Yes.
Monday through Friday?
Yes.
Okay, and how long you been doing this?
Just for the past week.
For a week during the time when this incident happened?
Yes, ma'am.
And then what happened?
Basically, Your Honor, I've been working for my hospital for 2 years, well, almost 2 years.
What are you, a doctor?
No, I'm a CRCST.
What's that?
It's a certified, registered clinical sterile technician.
What do you do?
Basically, what I do is I clean, sterilize, and assemble surgical instruments for the OR. I dispense them. I'm in charge of storing them and those kind of things.
All right, so you work at the hospital.
Yes.
And so what happened?
Basically, I've been there for almost 2 years. I was let go about 2 months ago before my second year anniversary. When I started working this job, you know, working in the hospital, this is a very important job. They have a very strict attendance policy. Basically, 3 tardies and 3 call-ins is equal to 1 absent.
3 tardies?
Yes.
And 3 what?
Call-ins.
What's a call-in? I'm not coming in?
Yes, Your Honor. Well, it's the same thing as a tardy. It's just hard to explain.
So if you have either 3 tardies or 3 call-ins, which is the same as the tardy,
yeah.
we just call it something different, but it's the same.
Yes, ma'am.
It equals what?
1 absence.
1 absence.
Yes, and it takes a year for you to gain that occurrence, for that occurrence to knock off of your attendance.
Okay. Okay, so and how many absences lead to you losing your job?
The 1 absence. I've never been late. I've never missed work. I've been late. I now have 3 occurrences. So basically, as they can fall off within a year. So I'm approaching, you know, where my year time frame, where my 2 previous occurrences, which are the 2 tardies, are about to fall off.
What's the penalty for having these things?
Basically, once I get that 1 absent, if I get this 3rd tardy, I'm fired from my job or whatnot.
Okay, so the rule is if you get 3 of those things that are all the same thing anyway.
Yes.
If you get 3 of them, you lose your job.
Right. If
you get 3 in a year.
Yes, I'll lose my job, or if I have 1 absence.
I need a break.
I'm sorry.
Let me ask you a question. So how long have you owned the car service?
Your Honor, we've had this car service for a year and a half. We're doing very good. We have a fleet of 12 cars now. We hope to double it within the next year.
Okay.
We have a highest reputation.
Are you familiar with this hospital where he works?
I'm not personally.
Did you know about these tardies, absences, call-ins, and occurrences? Did you know any of this stuff?
We didn't have any idea of all this. He had mentioned something to our writer in babbling on and on. But, I mean, it's really not our fault. How could we be really held responsible for his 3rd tardy?
I don't understand how he can say it's not his fault because y'all the ones who showed up late. And I don't understand how 2 of your cars get pulled over by the police, but it's not your fault.
Okay, tell me what happened. Tell me what happened.
So
wait a minute, where's the driver? Where's the driver?
She's here today.
What's her name?
Her name is Mrs. Gonzalez.
Okay, I need Mrs. Gonzalez here. Come forward and be sworn. Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And your name is Gonzalez?
Yes, Jessica Gonzalez.
And Jessica, you're a driver?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so before I hear the story, I wanted to have the driver here, so I can. It's kind of hard to go back and forth if I don't have. Because you weren't there, were you?
No, ma'am. I was at the office, just in the office.
So now we call the car service, which I guess we had never used them before.
Well, actually, I have used them before. I used them all this week. You know, it was no problem.
The week that you didn't have a car?
Yes, all that week. I'm sorry. And so, you know, I called them and I'm like...
What day of the week was this then? You said you had been using them that week.
Yes, this is like Wednesday.
Wednesday. Was Ms. Gonzalez the driver every time?
No.
Okay. So Wednesday you call, I need the car.
Yes, ma'am.
What happened?
So I called them at 7:15, and they tell me, they're like, oh, well, the driver will be there in less than 20 minutes. I'm like, okay, cool. That's cool, you know, because I have to be at work at 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock in the morning.
Okay. How long does it take to get to work from your house?
It takes about 45 minutes. So I'm going to get there pretty early. You know, I like to show up to work early sometimes because I like to, you know, get breakfast in the cafeteria sometimes and socialize with some of my coworkers.
Okay, so you were the driver that day, right, ma'am?
Yes, I was.
Okay, and what time did you get to his house?
I got to his place probably around 8:30,
Right.
8:45.
What time did the call come in? Who took the call?
Your Honor, the calls come into our office.
Right.
We send a driver.
Okay.
We sent the first driver out to pick him up, but there was not necessarily a speed trap, but there was a police trap
The
with
first
a,
car
with
got
a
pulled
left
over by a
turn.
cop, Your Honor, basically to sum it all up.
So your first
And
driver?
they never even called me and told me that the car got pulled over by a cop. I had to call them to find out the information.
Coming up on Supreme Justice,
She walked to the back of the car, opened up the back door, grabbed my bag, threw my bag, then she reached in and grabbed my arm and started tugging me.
you're watching Supreme Justice with Judge Karen. We're back with the case of Sean Wilcox, who is suing Ron Richards for lost wages.
What happened with your first driver?
The first driver made an illegal left turn. We didn't see the sign. There was
Right.
a branch covering it,
Right.
and it was a trap. The cops pull people over there all the
Okay,
time.
so what did that have to do with him?
So what happened was he got pulled over. He called the office.
Your
and we
driver.
automatically, the first driver, not Mrs. Gonzalez. The
Well,
first
did he go
driver.
to jail or something?
No, he just
How
got
long did
pulled
it
over.
take him to get a ticket and go on about his business?
He didn't know. So he called our office and said, you better send another car. So we sent Mrs. Gonzalez. She wasn't far from there.
Okay.
And so we sent her to pick
She
him
got
up.
there at 8:30.
And we didn't need to call him because we felt like we still had plenty of time for
And
the
he
second.
called in at 7:15,
Yes, ma'am.
right? He called. We agree. He called in at 7:15.
I would check our call
Okay,
logs.
wait. When you left the office today to come, where did you think you were going? Where did you think you were going to lunch? You were coming to court.
I know, ma'am.
Right, and so what does a judge look for in court? Evidence. Did you think, you know, this judge might ask me what time did we get the call in? Let me bring the call log. What did you bring? What did you bring?
We brought some evidence, Your Honor,
What?
that shows the traffic pattern where the sign was that was covered, and it was
you
a no
didn't
left
bring
turn.
the call in log? You brought me a drawing of the traffic stop?
We didn't. No one requested a call in log.
Anyway, so then you call Ms. Gonzalez and say, go over there.
Exactly.
She gets at 8:30.
It should have been no
You got
no
there at
time
8:30,
lost.
ma'am?
Well, there was an issue.
What time did you get there?
I got there at approximately between
She
8:25 to
technically
8:30.
never even
Let me
made it to
explain
me.
for
I had
just a
to
moment,
walk to
please.
her.
Oh, so she didn't get
No,
to you?
she didn't get to me. Nope.
How
No,
did
ma'am.
you see her? How did you get to
Oh,
her?
because I walked down the street because I knew exactly I knew exactly where they got pulled over at.
Okay, so you got pulled
Yeah,
over too?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to
Oh,
explain
because
to
y'all
you.
were speeding.
No, not speeding at all. Let me show you this map here. So if you take a look at this map, can you see this? I was going north on Cordell Way right here.
But you
I
are-
mean,
I can't see that.
hold
far
on.
away.
The whole thing, it could have all been avoided because before he sent her out, I asked him, I said, when I had called him, I asked him, I said, you know, can you please let your driver know not to make that left on Reckon Street? And he was like, you know, I said, or as a matter of fact, just give me her number and I will call her myself and I will tell her. So he's like, cool, he gives me her number. I call her, she never answers. So I sent her a text message, Your Honor. I sent her a text message saying, do not make a left turn on Reckon Street. You cannot turn there between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m., which she never even gets back to me in text message either. So, you know, this is
I
all
got your
been
text
avoided.
message.
Your Honor, our drivers are allowed to answer.
Excuse me, I have a question. Well, they the only car service in town.
They're not the only car
I
service
mean,
in town, but
in my town, they got car service. It's called a taxi,
Yes,
and it's
ma'am.
8888 and 8.
Yes,
if
ma'am.
you forgot the number, it's all 8s. And there's another one. Their telephone number is 444-44444. You know, couldn't you have picked up the phone
you are.
and knowing now you're on your last
Yes.
occurrence?
Yes,
Don't
ma'am.
interrupt.
And I agree with you.
Don't interrupt me. And say, let me tell you something. These fools are not gonna get over here in time. Let me call 888-888-44444 or 411 for somebody else to come pick me up because I got to
And
be to
that's
work.
eventually what I had to do, Your Honor. I eventually had to do that, but I just kept being led to believe. Let me tell you something. When I called him at 7:15, when he told me that that his car would be there in less than 20 minutes.
Did you call another service?
I called a second service eventually. I called the second service after I had walked down to her car because I had walked
Okay, so you walked down to her car.
Yes.
And did you see her?
Yes.
What was she doing?
Basically, the cop had just got done dealing with her. It was just about to leave. He gave me the okay to go ahead and get into her car.
So you got in her car?
Yes, I got
What
into
time
her.
is that?
It's about 8:30. It's close to this time, so it's still time for me to get to work on time.
You got 45 minutes. Okay, so then what happened?
Right. And so as soon as I get into the car, she like just turns around and she just starts yelling at me and cussing me out.
What were
and
you
I'm
saying
like,
when he got in the car, ma'am?
No, he got.
no, that's exactly what happened. Don't sit up here and lie. Don't act like that. Do not act like that. See, no, Your Honor, that is exactly what happened.
Wait.
No.
See the way he's
stop.
behaving?
Wait.
How I'm misbehaving? What? Really?
This is
That's
the
how
way
you
he
feel?
was behaving
No.
when he got in
Mr.
my driver's
Wilcox,
car.
Wait, you weren't even there.
She's
Wait,
told
when
me
he got what?
He got in her car. She didn't know he was
Okay,
the
you
rider.
were
Can I
even
finish
there.
telling the story? I'm the
I
driver.
don't even know what happened when you got in the car.
That's
Because
what
I
I'm
got in the
saying.
car and she just immediately started
I
yelling at me
need
and
to
just
hear,
started
you've
cussing
done a
me
lot
out.
of talking today. I need to hear, when he got in the car, what happened?
Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate that. Okay, when I got there, I had just got
He
pulled
got in
over.
the car. He got in the car, and what happened?
He got in the car. He said, "Hurry up, B word." Then he pushed my seat from behind, and he says, "I gotta hurry up and get the
Wow.
hell to work."
Wow.
Coming up,
Another word, and you're going out to your car. Because really, you weren't even there. Okay?
877-999-2593.
you're watching Supreme Justice with Judge Karen. We're back with the case of Sean Wilcox, who is suing Ron Richards for lost wages.
Okay. Did you say that?
No, ma'am.
It seemed like you the type of person that would have said that, though. Something just tells me that you're the kind of person that says that and use the B word.
You know what, Your Honor, after she started yelling at me, yes, I did yell back.
Okay.
I was feeling stressful. I was feeling stressed out. I'm about to lose my job.
Okay.
I have a really good paying job. You know,
Right.
$20 an hour, that's really good
Right.
money, especially not to have gone to college. and
Okay,
only
so
have
he
15.
says that.
Yes, he
And
says
what
that.
happened?
And then I told him, I said, "You don't need to talk to me like that, sir.
Right.
I've already been through enough today.
Okay.
You know, I've had all this crazy stuff happen
Right.
during the day."
And then what happened?
And then he just says, "I don't care. You need to take me to work right now." And I
Okay.
started freaking out. Everything has been going like not very good
Yeah,
in the
right,
past
exactly.
few days.
She starts freaking out.
I'm
And then she
sorry.
jumps out
Wait
the
a
car and
second.
she
I'm
jumps to the
sorry.
back seat.
Can I just
takes my
finish?
bags, throws my bags, and starts tugging me by the arm.
Wait a minute.
Actually,
How
you
can
be
we
quiet.
touch you by the
Look,
arm when I'm in the
Miss
front?
because you jumped out the car.
Mr. Wilcox, you know what? I'm ready to have lunch.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
He says that you got out the car and got into the back seat and took his stuff out the car.
Why the heck would I do that?
I don't know
That's
why.
the most
Why would they
ridiculous.
let you do it? Why did you do it? Why
I
did you
did
do
not
it?
even get
Right,
out.
right.
I
When
told
you got
you
in the
to-
car,
I
really,
told
really,
you to
really?
I didn't know
Yes,
he
she
was the
did.
original
Yes, she did.
rider.
Mr. Richards, I told you
She
to
did
hush.
when I told her I was late.
Mr.
I told
Wilcox,
you what-
I'm gonna put you outside in a minute. One more word, and you're gonna go outside. You, another word, and you're going out to your car. Cause really, you weren't even there. Okay?
Coming up,
Oh, she told me to get out the car. She told me to call another service, and then she got out of the front seat.
Right.
And she walked to the back of the car, opened
Right.
up the back door, grabbed my bag, threw my bag. Then she reached in and grabbed my arm and started tugging me.
you're watching Supreme Justice with Judge Karen. We're back with the case of Sean Wilcox, who is suing Ron Richards for lost wages.
He says the things he says to you. What happened?
I told him to get out of my car, but from the front seat. I was never got out of
Okay,
the
so
car and
is
pulled
that
you
true?
out.
She told you to get out of the car?
Oh, she told me to get out the car. She told me to call another service, and then she got out of the front seat.
Right.
And she walked to the back of the car, opened
Right.
up the back door, grabbed my bag, threw my bag. Then she reached in and grabbed my arm and started tugging me. That's where things started to get real
What
serious, 'cause
happened then?
I really felt like I should have just like smacked her or hit her or something, but I don't do that. You know what I mean? And so basically, I diffused the situation, and I just
You
started
got
walking
used
down.
the situation.
Yes, I had to like back her up off of me. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like in a respectful way,
Right.
as respectful as you can be in
Exactly.
this type
What
of
did
situation.
you do exactly?
I just pushed her off of me like, dang, get off of me, and she was like still all hysterical and
So
stuff
then
like
what
that.
happened?
And so basically, after I pushed her off, I just walked down the street. You know what I mean? I walked down the street.
Did
and
you
I
get to
called,
work?
Yes, but look, this is the messed up part, y'all. By the time I make it to work, it's 10:20. I'm supposed to be at work at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
So immediately I get to work, and now my boss is calling me into the office. They just immediately just fire me.
You got fired
like
just
on the
like
spot, just like that.
3 strikes, you're out.
3 strikes,
That
you
was your
out.
third
Like,
strike.
that was my 3rd strike.
Okay, first question. Did they know when you called them that this was going to be your 3rd strike?
Not technically, no.
Okay. Because
First off,
it's all in the law. It's reasonably foreseeable damages. Listen, I need a car. If you can't get me to work by 9:15, don't come. If I'm late to work today and it's because of you, I may lose my job. Any conversations like that? Yes or no?
Towards
yes,
the
yes or no?
second conversation, yes.
Yes or no?
Yes,
Did
yes,
you tell?
yes.
When did you tell her
Yes.
you were gonna lose your job?
I told them when I talked to him the second time over the phone, which was when
You
she got
talked to
pulled
who?
over. When I talked to Mr. Ron Richards here.
Right.
Yes, and I told him, I said, you know, like, I have to be at work. I can't afford to lose my job. Like,
Right.
I pay my own bills. I do everything for myself.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think it was reasonably foreseeable that you were going to lose your job in the circumstances. And number one, that's number one. Number two is you had already created those first 2 strikes on your own.
I understand that,
You
Your Honor,
created
but I
the
definitely have
first-
taken a turn for the better in my life.
Right.
Like, I feel like I'm at a point in my life where I'm 26. I'm trying to stabilize myself. You know
exactly.
what I mean?
Maybe
And
this ain't the only hospital in the world.
it's not, but
It's
this is
not
what
the
happens
only- wait.
when you lose a job at a hospital because the health
All
care.
you did was sterilize instruments in the hospital. You're not a doctor, a nurse.
I'm not a doctor or a nurse, no, but that's very, Your Honor, let me tell you something. A hospital could lose lots of money if the instruments are not sterilized right. If I cut you, if I'm a doctor and I cut you,
Right.
you know what I mean?
I understand that. But
And
you didn't, wait, excuse me, you didn't lose your job because you don't know how to sterilize a scalpel.
No.
You lost your job because you were late.
Judge Karen's verdict when Supreme Justice returns. You're watching Supreme Justice with Judge Karen.
Okay, anything could have happened. You had how much more time left before that last strike? Another month, 2 months before it rolled over to the next year. You had like 5 months left, okay? Anything could have happened to you in that 5 months.
I understand that,
Because
Your Honor,
guess
but
what?
anything didn't happen.
Stop. It's life. And it's kind of ridiculous. I've never heard of anybody with this policy. As a matter of fact, do you have anything that with this policy in writing? Because I've never heard of such.
Not
thing.
on me.
It sounds foolish to me. It doesn't even make any sense. Occurrence is a call in, which is the same thing as a tardy, which is it's just ridiculousness to me. And I don't even buy it. You got a failure of evidence on this side, a failure of evidence on that side, and I don't know what car service will take you on a ride for 45 minutes and charge you $25, but you get what you paid for. Judgment for the defendants. Good luck to you.
Judge Karen has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim is denied.
I still think it's your fault, and you need better drivers.
I'm sorry you lost your job, but we can't be responsible.
This has been a production of Entertainment Studios.